So, I mean, I had preeclampsia in both my pregnancy. I was really swollen, and my body went through it, I would say. And I also had kids. I had Irish twins, so they were like 14 months apart. So my body definitely went through it. And so afterwards, you just kind of expect this cliff to be like, okay, well, and I breastfed too, which people say like that helps you lose weight. Well, like that didn't happen for me at all. Like, I just couldn't really lose weight. My primary care provider was helpful, but like talked to me about nutrition, which is helpful, but I was eating well. I was pretty active, walking a lot, and I just really couldn't lose weight. But since I've been on the thyroid, I've definitely seen like my clothes fit better.
The testosterone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Yeah, since the testosterone. So it can help people kind of like the hormones kind of regulate. And
what happens is, our creator, we have muscle and we have fat. Muscle, though, has to have calories to maintain itself. Muscle has to stay at body temperature. It has to do something. It has to burn calories just to be, at body temperature. And then once a muscle is exercised, it burns even more calories.
The fat, right?
That's where the calories are coming from.
Okay.
Your body's fat.
Nice.
So if you control what you eat, but you have enough muscle, then you're going to burn calories. Well, what happens to a lot of women is their testosterone levels go down so low, they're not able to put on muscle mass.
Wow.
Right? So in my opinion, the recipe for muscle is 3 things. It's protein in your diet, some kind of resistance training, or resistance, like you were talking about, just picking up and walking around with a baby on your hip. Well, that's resistance.
All day long.
But the third thing is testosterone. And without any one of those 3, you're not going to build muscle. Well, if you don't have enough testosterone, you're not going to build muscle no matter how hard you're working. And if you can build muscle, that muscle's going to burn calories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's estimated that 1 pound of muscle burns 1,500 calories a month. So if you added 3 pounds of muscle, look at that. I mean, you're burning 45. That's just if you did nothing. If you just stayed at body temperature, your muscles are going to do the work for you by burning calories all day and all night long. And, a lot of women, especially menopausal women, menopausal women typically will show up with an undetectable testosterone level. You showed up with a very low level because of your pregnancy and your body never reset. So it's the testosterone helping building muscle, and your body's muscle then burning the calories, which is why you're losing the fat that you're seeing going away.
So because my testosterone was so low, it really was just like it wasn't burning any fat.
You weren't able to add muscle mass.
Got it, yeah.
That's what the problem was.
Right, which is what ultimately burns fat.
Yeah. And, if the menopausal woman were here, she'd probably be saying, Dr. Ibrahim, I'm not a closet eater. I know that glass of wine's got 125, 150 calories. But, I'm working out like 5 days a week. My trainer's coming twice as often as she used to come, and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Well, that menopausal woman's testosterone is probably 0. And she's going to work herself to death because without the testosterone, she's not going to put on muscle. Without the muscle, she's not going to be able to burn the calories to burn the fat.
I just think it's interesting too, like you were explaining that the testosterone is bioidentical, so it's like the same molecules in your body. It's like if you let your body heal itself, it will. But I know it's like interesting nature. You know what I mean?
Well, when they sequenced the human genome, we were able to tell which genes coded for what things, and we're able to take snippets of these genes and place them in vectors and reproduce the human hormone. And so, insulin, we used to collect insulin from pigs and cow pancreases. Today we have a product called Humulin, which is human insulin. Well, it's actually produced in an E. coli bacterium. But what's being produced is the gene that codes for insulin. So we're making that bacterium make insulin. Well, we do the same thing with human hormones now. We place them in vectors, and they happen to be certain plants that have precursors to the hormones, but the end product is the identical hormone that our body used to make, whether it's progesterone now, estrogen, or testosterone.
And in my experience, like the mainstream is like the most solves are like Zoloft for mood or, energy, and Ozempic, or like all these like fixes that don't feel great. I mean, I didn't want to be on an SSRI forever.
Well, it's often, this is sort of in the same category as the way I look at things like Viagra and Cialis. I tell guys, I go, look, when you were in your 20s, the Viagra wasn't even invented yet, and you were able to do a lot more. Now that you're in your 60s, you're not Viagra deficient. You're testosterone deficient. This is in a lot of the men.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah, and so oftentimes, let's put the testosterone back, and they might not ever need Cialis or Viagra again. Like with in your case, you weren't Zoloft or Prozac deficient. You were testosterone deficient.
Right.
And and you were very successful at weaning yourself off, and that's great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and not only that, it's like a double whammy, because then the Zoloft zaps your libido. Yeah. So it's like you have low energy, Yeah,
and I describe Zoloft as digging a 12-foot deep trench, dropping your libido in it, and then parking the earth mover on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no coming back from it. But, I'm glad you're off.
Candidly, like I think our generation is a little bit more comfortable talking about postpartum depression and postpartum like struggles, and so like through honesty about like my friends saying I'm on Prozac or Zoloft, like it's great, but also like then what? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it helped me get through that initial period, and like it's helpful for a lot of people, but like and then what? Because I still don't feel great. Like I feel my mood's better, but like I'm still like retaining a lot of weight. Like nothing kind of like seemed to be progress.
I think the term postpartum depression is gonna fade away over the next decade.
Really?
I think more and more providers are realizing that's not clinical depression. It's a dramatic drop in hormones, particularly testosterone, that happens after delivery, and that's not depression. That's just a hormonal imbalance, and that's a lot of what we do in our practice.